All right, Madam Chair, we do have quorum, and we are ready to start the March 16th meeting of the Building and Standards Commission. With that being said, it is 1:29, and the Building and Standards Commission is now called to order. If you don't mind, I'll cover the first portion. The Building and Standards Commission of the City of El Paso is now in session. The commission is established in accordance with ordinances of the city to provide due process in cases involving allegations of violations of El Paso City Code 18.50, according to specific legal rules. Evidence may be presented to the commission for its consideration. Other parties interested in your case may also be heard at this time. Following this hearing, you will be promptly notified of the commission's decision. Commissioners, as you'll note, the majority of this is a business schedule, so we're going to be providing you updates. We're going to be selecting the new chair, approval of the upcoming calendar for the remainder of the year, and only one case and also a legal presentation. So with that being said, we'll move on to item number 2, call to the public. Is there anybody signed up to speak on this during this meeting on any items that are not on the commission's agenda? Yes, sir, Mr. White.
Hello, how are you?
How are-
Fine. Good
Oh,
evening,
but
sir.
he's here to speak on the specific case.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So once we get to that case, we'll go ahead and pull you up, sir.
Fine, sir.
Yes, sir. With that being said, we'll move on to item number 3, regular agenda, commissioners. So first item on the agenda is the selection of a new chair and vice chair, given that we're into a new calendar year. This is just customary. So at this point, do we have Madam Chair already presiding? Would you like to volunteer yourself, ma'am, for another term? Or are any other commissioners willing to jump into the hot seat? Okay. Can we have a motion to have Ms. Livingston as the chair for the Building and Standards Commission?
I'll motion for Margaret Livingston to stay as chair.
Okay.
And
We
I'll
have a-
second.
We have a first from Mr. Garland, a second from Ms. Jimenez. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, commissioners. Second item is going to be selection of a vice chair in case Madam Chair is traveling, doing whatever she does on her off time. Do we have any volunteers to take on the vice chair role? All right, Mr. Garland, can I get a motion? Yes.
And I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So now Mr. Garland remains as the vice chair. Aside from that, what you'll note in your packets is that we have the approval of the 2023 Building and Standards calendar. We did provide 2 options this go around. So we provided an option for Thursday and Tuesday, same time, and basically opposite city council meetings. The reason that we provided the Thursday option is, as many of the commissioners will note, right now, in this past year, we've gotten bounced due to city council meetings. And even though city council meetings are in chambers, this room is reserved in the event that they need to come upstairs for executive session. And every now and then, with the special meetings that occur, they conflict with our current schedule. So staff just said, let's provide 2 options. The second one being Thursdays, opposite City Plan Commission. We did verify with the city clerk and the room scheduler. There are no conflicts, but at this point, it's really up to the commission which date would work better for the commission as far as the overall calendar. So with that being said, I'll open it up to the commission for discussion to see which one you guys would prefer, and then we can make a motion.
My preference is Tuesdays.
It's up to the commission. We're just making the recommendation. Just keep in mind that in the past, we have had the issue of Tuesday, well, quorum's one, but the other one is really city council having a off council date meeting. And at that point, we can't use this room on Tuesdays if they schedule a meeting, even though it's downstairs. I think Thursday would be better. That way we kind of are ensured that we're not going to be getting bounced.
Dot, put it on green. I'm not loud enough?
I just have a conflict every Thursday because I have an OAC meeting, which is one of the city projects. So that project will end in probably 3 more months, so.
So after that, you'll be okay? After 3 weeks, you said?
No, 3 months.
Oh, 3 months?
Do you foresee any of the proposed calendar dates conflicting with that?
Like right now, I'm missing a meeting on the other end,
It's-
and I don't know that I should be.
She's saying it's every Thursday. She has a conflict for 3 more
Okay.
months.
Well, again, it's open to the commission. Staff will work with the commission's wishes.
Can we do the next 3 on the Tuesday and then go back to the Thursdays? Would that be acceptable?
Yeah?
Can we do that?
We can make it work.
Everyone good? I'm good with that.
So next 3,
The next 3 on
Tuesday?
Tuesday, and then move them to Thursday,
okay.
please.
Wendy, will that work, or will we have to just prepare a revised calendar just to be on the safe side? Yeah, we typically alternate with them so as not to conflict. Just want to make sure that, right now, we're going to be doing a combination. So we'll just make sure to correct that and post it on the website adequately. All right? Can I get a motion to have the next 3 BSC meetings on Tuesdays opposite City Council, and then after that, we will convert to Thursday for the remainder of the year?
Since I'm suggesting it, I will make the motion that April, May, and June will be on Tuesday, and then we'll switch to Thursday for the remainder part of the year.
Can I get a second, please?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And with that being said, we'll move on to item number 3, legal presentation. IT, if you could please bring up that presentation.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm going to teach you a little bit about the legal aspects of the Building and Standards Commission. As Tony previously stated, it has been codified in El Paso City Code, but it actually comes from the Texas Local Government Code. It's Chapter 54, and it talks about substandard buildings and the likes. I should have done that. And then you should also have a copy of this in your packet. Okay, Chapter 2.38 of the El Paso Municipal Code is where all of the Building and Standards Commission language is at, and that talks about how people are picked and all that fun stuff. But what I really want to talk to you about is what the goal of the Building and Standards Commission is. And it's basically to stop properties from just becoming imminent hazards and public waste grounds. So you can either, and with the Building and Standards, you guys have the authority to either board and secure property or to demolish property, as long as proper notice is given. And this is also like the city's only legal way to demolish buildings. Unless it's an imminent hazard, and that goes through the fire chief. Okay, all these orders are considered civil actions, and the only place that they can appeal is in the district courts or the county courts. But the district courts can overturn the orders. It is not city council. City council has no say in it. They can't stop it. And I'm not even turning, I'm sorry. And this is a quasi judicial enforcement, even though it's a civil action. If a person wants to appeal the orders, they have 30 days to do so. Otherwise, it's waived and they can't go forward with that. Okay, the process is the hearing is heard, order is entered, and then there's a 30-day appeal period. With the hearing, the commission will decide either to board and secure the property, which is like basically put cardboard boxes or what? Plywood on the windows. I'm not into construction very well. And then demolish, you know what demolish is. And some of these pictures show some demolition. I think a couple of them show the demolition of City Hall. And then, once the order is entered, you can't give any more than 90 days, because if you give them time and you keep adding more time, it doesn't look like an imminent hazard, and it kind of makes it very hard to get things done on the property, especially if they take it to court. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. This is the legal process for action to demolish property and board and secure it. And then the purpose is to evaluate and enter an order requiring the property owner to repair, board up, and demolish a structure on the property for the health and safety of the residents of the municipality. That comes straight from the statute. It's for the preservation of public safety relating to the materials and methods used to construct buildings or improvements, including the foundation, structural elements relating to dangerously damaged interior structure and provisions. Okay. Yeah, Chapter 54 of the Texas Local Government Code allows the municipality to go in and do this kind of things with a Building and Standards Commission. One of the limitations is it has to be a city or municipality of over 100,000 people. Like little towns is a little bit different. And once again, the functions are to order the repair within a fixed period, which is 90 days, of buildings found to be in violation of the ordinance, declare a building substandard in accordance with the power granted by this subchapter. And that's actually supposed to be shown by the presentations, that it's in violation. And then an order that allows access to private property to board and secure the property, and determine the amount of duration of the civil penalty the municipality may recover. You do have the option to fine people. Once again, the fixed period of time is 90 days, and that's pretty much the end. If you have any questions?
I do have a question on this. I know that sometimes people within that 90 days and within that period make the repairs, so they're not able to make those repairs within those 90 days. What does it say for the statute on doing an extension on that 90 days, and what does that say?
Okay. If you end up giving extensions past the 90 days, it kind of takes away that imminent hazard.
Sure, I understand.
And that's when it gets very difficult for us to actually go in and do things on the property.
So what my question is, if they go within that 90 days, they're 30 days into it, they start repairs, they're not. Within that 30 days or 90 days, they start the repairs, they're not able to complete the repairs within those 90 days due to material shortages, due to labor shortages, there's been a lot of that lately. So what happens at that point if they need an extension beyond those 90 days? I understand you're saying it's imminent danger to the public, but if they're in the process of performing those repairs and the property is secure with either a fence or some sort of barrier, is there an extension that these people are allowed to have?
That's for you.
So long as the work is started within the 90 days, then after that, the building permit and the construction codes take over. At that point, the building permit's valid for 180 days. If for one reason or another they can't finish it within 180 days, and the permit auto extends. So let's say, for example, that in 60 days, I end up calling a structural inspection. From that 60-day mark, it auto extends another 180 days. So it continues the process going. The only time that we would run into issues would be if they do nothing within 90 days.
Okay.
Then at that point, under state law, you guys are authorized to exceed the 90 days. We don't recommend it, but at that point, state law is pretty clear in saying that the commission has the authority to request plans of action, timelines when items will be completed, basically a lot more detail from the property owner that the commission can tie him to. If after that, for one reason or another, the work isn't done anyway, what staff would likely do is, if no demolition order is issued, what we would do, and depending on the state of the structure, of course, because I've seen in previous commission meetings years ago, a perfectly sound structure was ordered to be secured, if not demolished, within 30 days. To me, you'll rarely see our staff recommending that, especially with a structurally sound building. It makes no sense to me to do that. What we would end up doing is saying, order the rehabilitation of the structure, give them X amount of time, let's say, for example, the 90 days. If that doesn't happen, we would come back and request that the commission impose civil penalties. Those civil penalties are then tied to the real property records and recorded with the county clerk's office. And if the property sells, then at that point, the payment is only subservient to tax liens. So those are different options that are available to the commission.
What we're trying to avoid is, I know some of you are going to know Billy Abraham and all his properties and all of the fiascos that took 15 years?
Yeah.
15 years to finally get something done on the properties. The Building and Standards is the one who gave Billy the $1 million fine, which he had to pay through the bankruptcy. So we don't want that to happen, because, no, it was horrible.
Sure, I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand that there's a reason behind this 90 days. I just want to make sure that I understand that the public has an opportunity beyond those 90 days to make the repairs to the property, because I know the time length that it takes it right now to make repairs to properties. And as long as there's a permit in place and they're working on the property, then the 90 days is not.
Correct.
Okay,
That gives us the flexibility.
okay.
Yes, sir. Commissioner
Yes,
Barba?
and I just wanted to ask about the fines. That's all on the city side, right? Has nothing to do with this commission, or you would bring
Oh, no,
that
you guys
before
have
us, or? I wanted to know how, if a fine is imposed, how that basically works.
Usually, if it comes to the point where they're looking for fines, it'll be a city attorney who presents what they're asking for. And they'll explain how the numbers are figured out and all of those things. So you don't have to actually pick a fine. You can just see how it's done and say yes or no.
But, and there are specific provisions, like for homesteads, state caps us at what we can find per day. Okay, if it's not a homestead, it gives a lot more flexibility. I believe it starts at somewhere like $10 per day for a homestead, all the way up to $1,000 per day for a non-homestead. So those accumulate, and the commission, once what staff does, and I think we've only recommended civil penalties twice. And I think we have to be clear on the difference between a fine and a civil penalty. The civil penalty is imposed by the commission. A fine typically is imposed by a municipal court judge. The civil penalty can be imposed, and what we've done in the past is that we've looked at the property, we've looked at the assessed value of the property, how long have they not been in compliance, and then we start tabulating based on different percentages of the civil penalty that we recommend. That way we don't go from, we give the commission options of different levels of civil penalties at that moment in time. Yes, ma'am?
We're now on item number number 4, the abnormal cases.
Thank you, Tony.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners. My name's Cesar Ortiz, Property Maintenance and Housing Inspector Supervisor, Planning and Inspections. I will be Presenting to you item number 3.4, Building and Standards Commission meeting update of our BSC and board and secure cases. Property Maintenance and Zoning Division, a total of 28 vacant structures have been boarded and secured through administrative process in 2022. A total of 11 Building and Standard Commission cases were presented to the commission in 2022. Their statuses follow. 8613 Joaquin Court, presented February the 22nd, 2022. At this time, we're awaiting demolition. 9392 Socorro, presented February the 22nd, 2022. That structure was demolished by the owner. 3028 Pera, presented April the 19th, 2022. That structure was demolished by the owner. 1008 South Oregon, presented May 17th, 2022, awaiting demolition. 1010 South Oregon, presented May 17th, 2022, awaiting demolition. 5408 Van Horn, presented May 17th, 2022, awaiting demolition. 10360 Preston, presented September the 20th, 2022, awaiting demolition. 149 Davis, presented September the 20th, 2022, awaiting demolition. 7229 Stiles, presented September the 20th, 2022, also awaiting demolition. And 3506 Waco Rear, presented October the 18th, 2022, awaiting demolition. These are just some numbers of structures that were demolished due to a Building Standards Commission final order in the year 2022. 16 Bronze Crest, District 1 residential home. The date of the order was January the 11th, 2022, and it was demolished on August the 15th, 2022, at a cost of $42,562.80. 3214 Pera, District Number 8, residential home. That the date of the order for that final order was January the 11th, 2022. It was demolished on October the 19th, August the 19th, 2022, at a cost of $10,311.35. 3423 Rivera, District Number 8. Date of the final order, January the 11th, 2022, demolished in June 15th of 2022 at a cost of $4,200. 709 Ainge Street, District 8, residential home. The date of the final order, October the 15th, 2021. This was demolished in April the 15th, 2022, at a cost of $3,701.80. 5621 Daly Avenue, District 3, residential home. Date of the order, October 15th, 2021, demolished in May 16th of 2022 at a cost of $7,554.40. Total cost that the city incurred for these demolitions in 2022 is $68,330.35, with an average cost of $13,666.07. Now, the average time of demolition was 5 days, but please, commissioners, please keep in mind that 16 Bronze Crest was an outlier and drove the average demolition cost up significantly. So just keep that in mind, please, okay?
It ruined your stats. That was the one that was the steel frame, right?
It was, we brought two properties at that time. It was 14 Bronze Crest and 16 Bronze Crest.
Kind of like my Crazy Cat-ish?
Yes, and
Okay.
14 had that 30 plus 8-foot-tall retaining wall that collapsed, and we had to order the remainder of it to be demolished. Property owner demolished that component. 14 Bronze Crest was only the house itself, and we're still monitoring that retaining wall, which may come to the commission in the future.
Wow, okay, thank you. Otherwise, excellent job.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's a lot.
I have a question. So looking at this, it looks like the average time from the time, oh, sorry. It looks like the average time from the time it comes to us to the time it gets demolished is like between 8 to 6 months, right?
I would say that would be safe to say, Commissioner.
And then the ones that you went over in the beginning, like some of these are like 13 months, 10 months, and they're still not demolished. Is there a reason why?
Tony, would you like to answer that one?
On a lot of those, there is a lot of steps in the process just to demolish the house. One is starting here, right? So typically, by the time we bring something to the commission, actually Caesar's team has already been working on title reports, gathering all the information to present the case for probably 2 to 3 months in advance, okay? We do the title search, we coordinate with Wendy's group to make sure that we've dotted all the i's, crossed all the t's. Then we bring it into the commission. At that point, the commission, right now, we've been fairly consistent on the 30-day because what we're bringing to the commission is really the substandard structures that need to be demolished. Once those 30 days have elapsed, then at that point, we begin the coordination with the third-party demolition contractor that is managed by Capital Improvements Department. The issue that we have there is then coordinating with all the different utilities to provide all the disconnections. Right now, we've had delays with El Paso Gas and taking sometimes 30 to 60 days in just providing those disconnections.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why there's a lot of steps in ensuring, and if for one reason or another, 30 days before we move forward with the actual demolition, we issue 30 days notices of intent. We send it out to any of the interested parties that came up during the title search, but if we discover that the property's changed ownership, then at that point, now that delays the process because even though the order does run with the land, we can technically move forward with it, but now we have to provide due notice to that new owner. So a lot of these projects are just being delayed because of state process and making sure that we don't do what happened a few years back in another municipality where they demolished a house without an order and then they got sued and then that put a stay of execution on all demolitions for probably, I want to say it was about a year to a year and a half throughout the state. Huh? Yes.
Oh, that was a little bit more.
Yeah.
They did go to the BSN.
Oh, they did?
It ended up being a more, yeah, she won because of the tax issue. It never changed the property value. So it had one value when it had a building, and then was it like for 5 years or something, like just a lot. And they were charging the same tax on the building. That's how they got screwed over.
And
Oh,
that
wow.
delayed demolitions throughout the state.
Yes, it did.
So, go ahead, Commissioner Bell.
No, I just wanted to ask one question. Is there any consideration for hazardous material abatement during this process?
On residential, I'd have to ask that question. Commercial, if we don't have an asbestos report, and I don't, the good thing, good and bad, I think the last time we had a commercial structure before the commission was back in 1819. Most of you commissioners weren't around for that.
Like the year 1819?
2018, 2019.
Oh, I'm like,
I apologize, let me close.
for sure
Not
we weren't here.
1819. That was about the last time. The majority of the ones that we have are residential structures. But I'm not, even for a basic demolition permit, a state law doesn't require asbestos report to be provided. So I don't believe that there's
You
any.
just have to contain it, right?
Yeah. But we can double check with our demolition team over at ESD to find out what happens with a home if they have to dispose it as potentially asbestos containing and dispose of it appropriately.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Our next item, I believe, has gone to the restroom.
That is correct.
Do we have to wait for him to come back to start?
He's the property owner for the address that I'm going to be presenting, so.
Do you want to, is it okay if you start your presentation? Or should we wait for him?
Tony, should we start it or wait for Mr. White to return back?
I know that we've typically provided the presentation in the past without property owners being present. I don't see that being a breach. But
Is it
we can give
rude?
him-
I don't want to be rude. He's an elderly
I think
gentleman.
it'd be a little. rude.
Okay, we'll wait for him.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh, here he comes. Lucky guy.
Can you please put on the elevator music?
Just
Caesar,
in the nick
so
of
we
time. Do, 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 do. Can I get a tambourine? Okay,
Ready whenever you are.
I am
Okay.
ready.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, again, Cesar Ortiz, Property Maintenance and Housing Inspector, Supervisor, Planning and Inspections. Today I will be presenting item number 3.5, 4200 Manzana Avenue, Building Standards Commission meeting, March 16, 2023. The Property Maintenance Zoning Division history for 4200 Montana Avenue. The single-family dwelling main structure and carport accessory structure were built in or about the year 1951. Exterior walls of the main structure consist of wood framing and brick veneer. The accessory structure was constructed of wood framing, tin siding. Since August 26, 2011, there have been 18 code enforcement nuisance complaints and four property maintenance and zoning complaints. First investigation conducted on October the 4th, 2021, and found the main structure unsecured and severely fire damaged, in a state of disrepair due to fire damage, and from lack of maintenance and being used as harborage by unwanted persons at that time. A follow-up investigation conducted on October the 7th, 2021. The structure was found still in with severe fire damage. The ceiling system has collapsed, exposing fire-damaged wood members of the roof structure. The roof has collapsed in the center of the structure. The accessory structure is found in a dilapidated state and has fire damage in the rear of the structure. On October the 11th, 2021, the property owner obtained a permit to secure the structure. However, the structure was not secured to standards of the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code, and the permit has expired without a final inspection. No repairs have been made, and the utility services are inactive. A certified notice of violation letter was mailed to the owner, Dan A. White, at 10312 Ashwood Drive, El Paso, Texas, on October the 8th, 2021. Certified notices of the public hearing scheduled for March 16th, 2023 were mailed to the owner and all interested parties on March 3rd, 2023. Contact was made with the property owner on October the 5th, 2021, informed the property owner he needs to demolish the property with permit or obtain a permit to restore the property. At this time, Mr. White, the property owner, is present, and he will come up at the conclusion of this presentation. Okay, at this time, this is the aerial view of 4200 Montana Avenue. The main structure is in red, and the accessory structure is in green. Exhibit 1, the front view of the main structure. Exhibit 2, the views of structural deficiencies of main structure. And these, we're talking about the roof components, if you look at the roof. Exhibit number 3, structural deficiencies of main structure, deteriorated roof components. So you can see there's actual light, sunlight coming in. Exhibit 4, some more deteriorated roof components. You can see some of those components are charred due to the fire. Exhibit number 5, interior fire damage. Exhibit number 6, interior fire damage to the main structure. Exhibit number 7, basic electrical and plumbing not meeting code standards, main structure. Exhibit number 8, evidence of unwanted entry. Exhibit number 9, this is the carport accessory structure. This is the front view of it. Exhibit number 10, deficiencies of the structural deficiencies of the accessory structure carport. Exhibit number 11, inadequate utility services. Exhibit number 12, as of today, March 16th, 2023, there are no taxes owed on this property. Department recommendations that the structures, main structure and accessory structure are substandard and unfit for habitation or use and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare, and that the structures, main structure and accessory structure, are not in substantial compliance with the municipal ordinances regulating fire protection, structural integrity, and disposal of refuse, and that the certificate of occupancy be revoked, that the structures, main structure and accessory structure, be demolished within 30 days from the date of this order, and that the responsible party shall abide by all permitting requirements, and that the premise be cleared of all weeds, trash, and debris within 30 days from the date of this order and maintained clean thereafter, and that upon failure by the owner or any other interested party to comply with the order of the Building and Standards Commission, the city may take whatever action is necessary to bring the property into compliance, including demolition, and place a lien on the property for the work which will be caused to be done by the city. Before I conclude this presentation, I just do need to note that I did do a follow-up on March 3rd. The property is secured, but as I explained in the earlier part of the paragraph, it is not up to the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code standards. Why they were not able to have that permit closed out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions for staff?
Any questions?
I have a question. Have you gotten any cost estimates of what it would cost to demolition?
No, Madam Chair.
Off the cuff, your best guess?
Oh, like best guess?
$2,000?
On this structure, I would probably hazard to say about 4 to 5.
Yeah, you think 45? Okay, just curious. Thank you.
When the city does work, it's usually a lot more expensive.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Caesar, one question.
Yes.
You said that the structure is secured, but it's not secured by the standards of 2015. What additional would it take to secure that property?
There's, in the 2015 International Property Maintenance Code, we have, in the appendix, we have a standard in pictures to provide to homeowners or contractors when they secure a home on how to secure it. This property was not secured per those standards, and that's what we mean by those, in reference to those standards, Commissioner.
Yeah, yes, sir, I understand, but you said it is secured to some extent.
Yes, that is correct.
To some extent, but it's not secured up to the standards.
That is
So
correct.
could it be secured up to the standards at this point?
Oh, of course.
It could be, okay.
Yes.
Any more questions for staff? No? Maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Just a thought. And this is an if, right, after the final conversation. But if it is secured and the lot cleaned up, Tony, then what happens?
If it is secured and the lot cleaned up, well, right now, what the commission has before them is really our recommendation of demolition. Cesar, do you recall when the fire occurred?
No, I do believe it was probably maybe 2028, 2019, around that time, but I
20
cannot give,
Okay.
2018 or 2019, I apologize.
Yours going back and forth a couple of 100 years or
I'm
so.
jumping ahead, right?
So back in 1899,
Yeah,
no, so if it is maintained and secured, maintained, the issue would be then at that point, the commission could consider ordering the rehabilitation of the structure. You know, but then at that point, again, we're tied back into the 90 days that the property owner would have after the order signed to pretty much submit the plans, refurbish, and obtain a certificate of occupancy. So realistically, I think at this point, it's a good time to bring in the property owner to find out what
yes.
he feels they can actually accomplish with the property. Because
Yes.
again, everything is cost-based, you
Right.
know, and that's something where we as a city, we wouldn't be able to provide that information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then green, that means you're no longer mute and they can hear you, okay?
Okay, you didn't hear me when it's green.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Is he
So
on?
It's on for you right now.
All right.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Can you state your name for the record?
My name is, Commissioner, my name is Dan White. I'm the owner of the property.
Thank you, Mr. White.
I'm a few years old, so I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I'd appreciate it if I could get whoever's speaking to speak up.
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
very
good.
well.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come down here.
Well, I had to.
Yes, well, that's true, but
Is there
Do
any
you-
questions?
yes, sir. Do you have a plan?
Well, other than I did the basic securing by chaining or putting a screw on the door. I did that. I took most of everything that you see in there. All that has been removed, but I had not made any immediate plans to improve the property.
Do you have any intention? Is that something that you desire to bring it back up
To be perfectly honest with you, I bought it in the spur of the moment as a resale. Hopefully, get rid of it immediately. I owned adjacent property, and I just thought that selling that whole area there would just that portion of the block. With that attached, it would make everything a little bit more profitable to me.
Sure.
Okay, and that's the whole purpose of buying it.
Okay, is to sell the land, not necessarily for the purposes of the building? Are you trying to?
Give me that again, please. I can't hear you.
Is your plan, was your plan for resale including the building being livable, or just to put the land together?
I intended to get rid of the property, and that's what I plan to do.
Okay, so you don't care about the house?
It's in process of being gotten rid of.
Okay, got it. Okay. Well, so then where we are at, where Tony, he has a certain amount of time to demo the building, right? Is that where we're at?
Correct.
He can't
If the
hear.
commission agrees with staff's recommendation, would have a standing demolition order in place. The demolition can be performed by the property owner within the time frame specified by the commission. If the property owner cannot complete that work within the specified time, then at that point, the city would move forward with demolishing the property. Unfortunately, when the city does do the demolition of the property, the first thing the city does is try to collect and recover the cost of the demolition. And if that isn't recovered, then the city would place a lien on the property. So, and I'm saying that, Mr. White, just so you're aware that the first option would be that the commission provides the order to demolish, then you obtain a contractor to actually demolish the property. That way, The city doesn't have to do it and place a lien on the property in the future.
Okay, what time frame are we talking about?
Commission, we're recommending 30 days. The commission has the authority to grant up to 90 days.
Okay, could I request 90 days, please?
Yes, sir. That's entirely up to the commission.
I didn't understand.
Yes, sir, that you can request the 90 days, and that would be a vote that the commission would take.
Okay, I
Mr. White?
appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wright, one question for you, sir. You said you're in the process currently of getting rid of the property. Does that mean that it's under sale right now?
Yeah, I do have a document stating that a person or company would like to purchase the property.
Okay, so are you under contract to sell that property currently, or you just have a letter of intent from
This
a
is the
company to
document
buy?
here. I believe I have it with me.
And if so, would you be able to demolish that building within 90 days?
I should turn over ownership within 30 days, hopefully, to someone else. So.
Subject to them demolishing the building? Are they aware that it's under?
Well, it's up to them what they want to do. I have explained to them what's going on. They have a general idea of what's going on.
Okay. So the 90 days runs with the property or it runs with the owner?
Property, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, repeat, sir.
The 90 days for demolition would run with the property. So regardless of if the property sells in the future or not, the demolition order is placed on the property itself.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any
All right.
questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Hang on, we're not quite done. Do we have a motion?
So
Do we have a motion?
Or, Mr. White, are you finished, sir?
yeah,
I thought
I
so.
wanted to be sure about the understanding. I do have 90 days. Is that correct?
We're fixing to get there.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm standing here waiting.
And I do want to thank you for being here,
Yes.
because most owners don't show up.
Yes.
So
Oh,
thank
my
you.
goodness.
And I also want to thank you for taking care of the taxes.
Yes.
That's another thing. So
Thank
thank you
you.
very much.
All right.
That's very honorable. Most people do not pay the taxes and they burn it to the ground, so we're happy about that. Okay, can we
So-
do we have a motion on the table?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations the city has put in front of us and to give Mr. White 90 days to do it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No, you said aye? You were quiet. Okay, motion
Aye.
passes.
I
You have
want
90 days. Congratulations on getting rid of it.
All right, well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very
White.
much.
Safe travels back home.
All right.
Okay, we're going to go on to the next item, which is consent agenda, which is just the approval of the meetings, the last minutes. Oh, yeah, we are. I got somewhere to be. Can I get a motion to accept the meetings minutes from the last meeting?
I'll motion to approve the meeting minutes, Robert Garland.
All in favor?
Aye. I'll second. Aye.
Thank you. And a motion to adjourn, anyone?
I'll motion to adjourn as well.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. See you all.
Building and Standards Commission meeting
Over.
for March 16th is adjourned at 2